What's happening, people? Good morning, New York, and welcome everyone to our live stream. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV in an effort of bringing the financial markets to your doorstep and help each and every one of you make informed decisions about investments in the amazing CFDs markets. The episode today is proudly sponsored by our partners at forexchangemarkets.com. If you like what you see, guys, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and support us in delivering more great content. Like, share, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and you might win an amazing prize. Feel free to type your comments and interact with me during these live broadcasts, and I will do my best to answer every single one of them. We are exactly 6 minutes ahead of the U.S. markets opening, guys. We saw a bloodbath on the financial markets today after more European countries announced potential complete lockdown measures in the upcoming days. European indices crashing up to 4% today. The S&P500 and the Dow are set for record losses, with the Dow trading almost 500 points lower pre-US opening. The euro and the pound traded sharply lower, aiming for the same lows they had back in March. Crude and Brent oil tanked over $1, and gold price dropped below the psychological level at $1,900. There's a lot going on in the markets today. We had literally a bloodbath today. I haven't seen something like this since March, guys. And there's more coming. In France, we have President Emmanuel Macron that will have a televised address to the population later on today, probably announcing the population that France will reinstitute lockdown measures again. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is due to meet state premiers to discuss closing restaurants and bars, while the Belgian government will convene on Friday to decide on a potential new national lockdown. Spain has already announced a state of emergency for 6 months. Where do we take it from this point? Only God knows. Welcome to the US trading session, everyone. Let's have a quick look ahead of the markets opening and see what is going on today. What is the most important thing that goes on today? U.S. stocks are seen opening sharply lower today, weighed by fears of additional lockdowns as coronavirus cases surge, while the earnings season continuing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is already down nearly 3% on the week, giving up all of its gains for October, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite indices sit at 3-week lows. The second wave of COVID-19 pandemic has hit the northern hemisphere hard, with many countries in Europe posting record daily infection levels, while nearly 500,000 people in the United States have contacted the virus in the last 7 days, according to Reuters tally. This has resulted in increased fears that fresh lockdowns will be reintroduced, something European countries are on the edge of implementing, potentially stiffing the economic recovery. As I mentioned a minute ago, in France, President Emmanuel Macron will have a televised address later today, and will address the population. Angela Merkel the same, and the Belgian government will convene on Friday to decide on a potential lockdown. This comes as President Donald Trump acknowledged yesterday that a COVID economic relief deal wouldn't arrive before the November 3rd elections, with the two sides unable to bridge differences over the size and scope of the package. The earnings season continues at a frantic pace today, with the likes of UPS, United Parcel Service, General Electric, MasterCard, and Boeing reporting before the bell, and Ford, eBay, Gillette Sciences after the close. The tech sector will also be in focus after Microsoft's heavy third quarter numbers, helped by growth at its cloud computing businesses, while the CEOs of Facebook, Alphabet, and Twitter are expected to testify before the Senate committee. Oil prices took a huge hit today, guys. We're going to have a look at the charts shortly after the U.S. opening, dropping over $1 as a jump in U.S. crude stocks, coupled with the potential damage to demand from the sharp increase in COVID-19 cases, raised worries about the supply glut. Also, remember, guys, we have the crude oil inventories to be announced exactly 1 hour from now. Who knows, maybe crude oil traders will manage to get in with long positions, at least to scalp the market and try and get some of the losses back if they were caught on the wrong side of the trade. Let's not forget that we have the Hurricane Zeta, guys, which is heading towards Louisiana. We saw people in Louisiana already moving, already fleeing their homes. Okay, the latest news that came from CNN earlier on was that apparently Zeta will touch mainland as a hurricane. Okay, it intensified with the wind speed close to 100 miles per hour versus the 75 miles per hour winds that it had yesterday. Gold futures also fell 1%, pushing gold below the 1900 level. Okay, and Euro USD also traded 0.5% lower at 117.39. Also the pound, guys. Remember the same pound that did very well on the Asian trading session. And the same pound, guys, that was expected to strengthen a bit today on some potential good news from the European delegation that headed to UK for the last couple of days, trying to sort out some kind of a deal. We're exactly 1 minute ahead of the American opening, guys. We see a bit of advertising. Unfortunately, I cannot bypass that, but bear with me for another 30 seconds or so, and we're going to ring the bell once again together for the U.S. markets opening, guys, which are expected to open sharply lower. Probably the worst markets opening we saw since March. Okay, I'm gonna remind you, Dow Jones shed over 500 points. The S&P 500 dropped sharply as well. Let's see what's gonna happen. That was only in pre-market trading. Let's see what's gonna happen shortly after the market opening and how low will these assets go. Right, the final seconds, guys. The final 30 seconds. Any minute now to the US opening. Get ready to ring the bell together. Okay, once they decide. Right, there we go. We are getting very close to the US opening. I am very stubborn. I like my my smiley bell, and I like ringing the bell with you guys. It gives me a bit of a boost for the day. We are 20 seconds away. You can start counting with me if you want. And let's see. If you look closely towards the right-hand side, guys, you can see a lot of red on the charts. We see the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, okay, heading lower and lower, and the NASDAQ futures as well. We are 3 minutes away from the market opening. And welcome to the U.S. trading session, everyone. There you go. I've done it. I hope you did it with me. I don't know why people are so happy at the market's opening right now, as the market opening that we're expecting is tremendous. Yeah, very, very, very bad day for trading, at least in the European session. Let's move on to one more article, and then we're going to have a look at the charts. Let's see what are the top 5 things to know in the markets today. Number 1 on the board, virus prompts global sell-off. Global stock markets sold off sharply as various countries again tightened restrictions on social gatherings in an attempt to break the trend of rising COVID infections. Various German reports suggested that Chancellor Angela Merkel will try to close bars and restaurants for the whole of November at a meeting with state governors in Berlin on Wednesday. The news comes only 2 weeks after the government's Council of Economic Experts revised down their growth forecast for the next 2 years. The DAX index led European stocks lower today, falling nearly 3% to a 4-month low. The yield on the German 10-year government bond fell 4 basis points to a negative 0.64%, its lowest since March, and Stock 600 index fell 1.8% to a 5-month low. Number 2 on the board, Microsoft results stoked by cloud gaming. Microsoft earned $1 billion every week in the 3 months through September, riding a sustained wave of demand for cloud hosting, computers, and video gaming. Well done, Microsoft. Revenue rose 12%, thanks largely to a 48% gain at Azure, the company's cloud hosting service, whose growth has been accelerated by the trend to remote working and restrictions on real-life socializing. The gaming content business, which revolves around the Xbox product, wasn't far behind with a 30% gain. Wow. Very, very well done. Number 3 on the board, the stocks are set to open sharply lower. U.S. stocks are set to open sharply lower with concern about the spread of the virus, by no means confined to Europe. The U.S. posted another 70,000 new cases of COVID-19 yesterday, while hospital admissions were up 50% from a month ago at over 44,000, according to data from covidtracking.com. Some of the biggest surges in infections are in upper Midwest in electoral battleground states such as Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio, which were largely sparred the first two waves of the pandemic. Johns Hopkins University estimates that nearly 227,000 Americans have now died of the virus, more than in any other country in the world. Number 4, guys, we were talking, if you remember, I was talking about exotic currencies. I keep mentioning exotic currencies or minor currency pairs this week as the majors are going through hell. Yeah. And back there you go, guys. There's the proof. The Turkish lira. Turkish lira slid to a new record low against the US dollar for the 5th day in a row as investors lost faith in the ability of the central bank to prop it up against the US dollar, which is now rising again due to safe haven flows in global currency markets. By 7:05 a.m. Eastern time, the dollar was at 8.29 lira, up 1.4% on the day and over 20% from where the central bank was holding it in August. The currency has been in free fall since the central bank chose not to raise interest rates at its meeting last week. And on Wednesday, the bank raised its inflation forecast for the year to 12.1% from 8.9%. Very, very bad what's happening with the Turkish lira, guys. Tremendous opportunity if you manage to ride this trend. Very, very good opportunity for profits. So again, make sure you know what's going on in the markets and keep an eye on the minor currency pairs and on the exotics as well. Sometimes it's really, really worth it. Number 5 on the board, oil slumps on demand fears, stockpiles surge. Oil prices fell to 3-week lows in line with other risk assets as the surge in COVID cases across the northern hemisphere stoked fears on fresh demand destruction. Sentiment had turned sore after the American Petroleum Institute reported the biggest weekly increase in U.S. stockpiles in over 3 months yesterday at nearly 4.6 million barrels. The official government data will be announced in less than 60 minutes from now. And finally, last but not the least, Hurricane Zeta is due to make landfall later today as a Category 2 storm with the Alabama-Mississippi border set for the worst storm surges. Nothing tends to give North America a break. Nothing tends to give us a bit of hope that things are calming down. If anything, is the exact opposite. Okay, let's have a quick look at the charts, guys, and see how the markets move today. We are looking at crude oil WTI futures on a 60-minute chart, currently trading at $37.45, $37.45 a barrel. You can see the sharp drop they had starting the European trading session this morning. Actually, starting the Asian trading session last night. So oil has been dropping for about 24 hours, guys. The euro as well lost a lot of ground today. I was mentioning this morning, guys, if you remember, this dead cross that is formed between the 200 and the 50 moving average. And I said there is great potential for a downturn with the euro, considering whatever is happening in Europe. And there you go, guys. RSI stochastic way in the oversold levels. The euro hasn't seen the worst yet. Okay, even though it's currently trading at 117.36, the previous lows, were at 117 flat. Okay, and by the looks of it, the euro is only about 30 pips, 34 points away from that mark. Let's see how the markets will react shortly after the American opening. The pound again lost a lot today. It's currently trading at 129.56. Yeah, if you remember a few days ago, there was a lot of happiness that the pound is trading higher above the 130 level. Well, there you go, guys. But again, the pound, just like the euro, hasn't seen the worst yet. Yeah, as the lowest low, the most recent low is at 128.91 or somewhere around that region. Okay, yes, we see a bit of a correction that is happening now. We see the RSI and the stochastic weighing the oversold, pointing upwards. So very likely, yes, there is a bit of buying power on the market. Let's move to the US dollar, guys, and I'm going to show you the amazing performance. You're not going to see it just yet on USD JPY. You're going to see it on the US dollar index in a couple of minutes. Okay, we see the USD JPY trading at 104.34. And even though the US dollar pushed slightly higher today for a couple of hours against the Japanese yen, at the US opening, things seem to be turning around as the US dollar, as you see on the charts, is being rejected by the 50 moving average. Okay, and we see a red candlestick opening. We also see the RSI turning around just below the 50% mark, towards the bottom of the chart. And stochastic, again, hasn't decided yet if it wants to point higher or lower. But in 20-30 minutes, once the markets calm down, things will start looking a bit better. Wall Street tumbles. Breaking news coming in, guys, at open as COVID surge triggers selling. Dow Jones futures down 521 points. Amazing, amazing, amazing. It's been quite a while since I've seen such a thing on the markets. We're looking at the Aussie dollar, which again gave back literally all the gains it had since the 20th of the month. All the gains it had in a week that were lost just during the European trading session today. USD Canadian, this is what I was telling you about, guys. Very, very good performance for the US dollar today. I think the US dollar is the only asset that moved upwards today. All the other assets, regardless of their classification, moved downwards. Yeah, obviously, after such a rally, we see a bit of selling power now on the markets. Currently, the USD Canadian is trading at 132.79. And we see the RSI and the stochastic way in the overbought levels. Now, in times like this, a bit of a correction is expected, especially after an 8-hour push, straight push, like we saw today. Okay, let's see what's going to happen once the markets tend to calm down. I'm just going to decrease the time frame slowly. There you go, guys. Yeah, on a 5-minute chart, you can see, okay, there is a bit of selling power on USD Canadian. We might see it coming down and testing the 50 moving average, at 132.60 on a 5-minute chart, or on a 15-minute chart, we might see it coming down to 132.29, and test the 50 moving average. The markets need, the buyers that entered down here, guys, with buy positions. Now, when this meltdown starts, probably they're going to close some positions. They're going to take some profits, and the markets will correct a bit. Okay, so if you're eager to go long on USD Canadian, guys, think twice. Okay, you can wait until this mini correction will happen. Okay, and then try and position yourself on the market at a better price, trying to avoid a bit of a drawdown. But let's see what the markets will do. Finally, we're moving to, oh my God, looking at the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, guys. Look at this horrible market opening that we see today. There you go, guys. This is the gap that the S&P 500 created at the markets opening today. Unbelievable what is happening with the S&P 500. Let's look at the Dow Jones, which, yes, just like the S&P 500, opened sharply lower, creating a huge gap on a 15-minute chart. You can see the gap on a 1-hour chart. I can think you can see this gap from space. Yeah, it's a huge gap that was created between closing price yesterday and markets opening today. Now, where is it heading to? Look at the charts, guys. Look where the 200 moving average is. Yeah, around the 27,214.23. Okay, so very likely we're going to see the Dow Jones and the S&P 500 testing the 200 moving average. Let's move on. Let's have a look at Apple, which opened on a positive note today, but again, nothing substantial happened. Amazon again opened on a positive note today, but nothing happened yet. Nvidia the same. Looking at the US dollar index, guys, let me decrease it to a 1-hour chart. There you go. Amazing performance for the US dollar index throughout the European trading session today. This is the movement that I was telling you about. Obviously, we see a bit of a correction happening right now. And what's more important, look here in the right-hand side, guys. We see a gold cross to be formed between the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average, which usually implies great buying power and a potential uptrend. Now, let's move on to gold, guys. Gold futures, which broke the 1900 mark today. Remember, guys, this morning gold was trading at that level, just around the 200 moving average at 1908. Yeah, and since this morning till now, it dropped to 1880. This was Basically, the point that I mentioned this morning, I said gold might go down to break the 1900 level and go below to the 1880 level. Well, there you go. It happened. Okay, RSI and stochastic way in the oversold levels. Hey, let's see what's going to happen with gold. Silver, again, just like gold. There you go, guys. And now, hopefully, you understand the similarity, and that gold and silver charts tend to move together, even though they're not going to move the same amount of points. Yeah, silver is trading way lower at 23.45 as things stand right now. Again, with the RSI and the stochastic way in the oversold levels. Let's have a look at Tesla, guys. We didn't check Tesla for quite a few days now. Negative opening for Tesla, currently trading at 412.50. Okay, with the RSI and the stochastic still pointing downwards, we see again a death cross being formed here, where the 50 moving average is crossing the 200 moving average, which usually implies a lot of selling power. And finally, guys, the absolute champion, Bitcoin, also traded a bit lower today. Bitcoin gave back about $400-500 from this morning after surprising everyone with a jump of over $1,500 within a week. Okay, Bitcoin is currently trading at $13,245. And again, it's probably heading lower to test the 200 moving average, which is at 12,904. Now, overall, Bitcoin is well supported by the 200 moving average, as well as the 50, as you can see here. And if we move it to a 4-hour chart again, on a 4-hour chart, probably Bitcoin will come down here, somewhere around this mark, testing the 50 moving average on a 4-hour chart, and on a 1-hour chart, it's probably coming down here, testing the 200 moving average. I think by now you got the hang of it. You understand how moving averages work. They act as dynamic support and resistance levels. And most of the times, or sometimes, they give us a very good indication on the level that's going to be hit. Now, this is what is happening with the markets today, guys. Let's have a quick look at the earnings calendar and see what is expected to happen today. We see Visa, MasterCard, UPS, Sony Corporation, and Boeing, as well as GSK, announcing their numbers for the third quarter. Okay, in the economic calendar, we see that in a few minutes from now, in 13 minutes from now, we're going to have the interest rate decision on the Canadian dollar, which is expected to remain unchanged at 0.25%. And we have the crude oil inventories and the Cushing crude oil inventories happening in exactly 43 minutes from now, guys. So all eyes on crude oil and Brent oil today. As soon as the announcement comes out, extreme volatility is expected. Who knows? Maybe we're going to see oil price going back to at least the values it had this morning. Around $39 a barrel. Okay, and it's not going to head lower than this. Now, for the ones of us that have big cars with big engines, obviously, a very low oil price is more than welcome. But for financial markets and traders around the world, this might be a big hit. Now, quick look at some trading signals from investing.com, guys. After the American opening, you can see a lot of mixed signals on the markets. The only clear one that we see is a strong sell on euro versus the Swiss franc on all the 4 time frames. Okay, and as we speak, the signals seem to be changing. This is what's happening on currency pairs. Let's have a quick look at commodities. Maybe we get a clear indication. There we go. Commodities definitely give us a clear indication on what's going on, guys. We see gold and silver set to continue the drops, yet to a strong sell on all 4 time frames. We're looking at crude oil, WTI, and Brent oil again, stuck in strong sell positions, 45 minutes or around 40 minutes ahead of the crude oil inventories announcement, and the natural gas is set in a strong buy on all 4 time frames. So a bit more clarity, a bit more clarification on commodities today. Let's have a quick look at indices. Let's see what Wall Street is doing today after the opening. What are the trading signals? Wow, there you go, guys. Bloodbath on the markets, just like the intro said. Red, and more red on the charts, with Nasdaq 100 set to a strong sell on all 4 time frames. The S&P and the Dow Jones the same. The Nasdaq futures the same. Small cap 2000 the same. DJ Transportation the same. A lot of red on the markets today, in complete absence of the stimulus that was long awaited by everyone. Okay, the stock markets cannot cope Yeah, with the pressure and with the pressure that comes from the increasing COVID cases all over the world. Right, this is it from my side today, guys. Stay tuned. We're coming back live in exactly 3 minutes with another round of dumb money trading traps revealed with Giovanni, the passive trader. And I'll see you all tomorrow morning at the European markets opening. Stay tuned. We're coming back live in 3 minutes. And until tomorrow morning, guys, remember to trade responsibly and may all your trades be in the money.